What if you could walk through chaos and still feel calm inside? What if you could be surrounded by noise, insult, drama, and still feel untouched, unshaken, unbothered? Not because you're pretending to be strong, but because you've built a quiet strength that doesn't react to every emotion, every word, or every storm. Think of a candle flame. When you cup your hands around it in panic, the wind still finds a way to put it out. But a fire that is protected from within, that has no need to scream or flicker, it keeps burning, even in silence. That is the power of indifference, a strength that doesn't need to prove itself to anyone, a calm that doesn't get disturbed by things beyond control. How often in daily life do we lose ourselves in things that don't even deserve our reaction? Someone cuts us off in traffic. A colleague mocks us. A friend ignores our message. We get pulled, twisted, and dragged into a battlefield of thoughts. And in trying to win that battle, we lose the only thing that matters, our peace. The real challenge is not in fighting back. The real challenge is in walking away with a mind that's untouched. You don't have to react to everything. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You don't have to prove your worth to people who can't see it. There is a deeper kind of strength, the kind that stays calm when everything else is falling apart. Welcome to Book Boost. If this message speaks to you, if you've ever felt the weight of emotions dragging you down, then this video is for you. We're about to go deep into the art of mastering your inner world. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And please drop down your one thought on believe in yourself in the comments. We'd love to know what belief keeps you going in silence. Because this journey isn't about becoming cold or numb. It's about becoming powerful enough to remain unaffected. To act, not react. To be the calm in the storm, not the storm itself. Keep watching. The path of true control begins here. When the world screams, stay silent. There comes a time when the noise outside becomes louder than the voice within. People will push you. Situations will test you. Circumstances will provoke you to speak, to react, to shout, to explain yourself, to fight for your place. But the one who has trained the mind knows this truth. Silence is not weakness. It is preparation. It is protection. It is power. In life, we are not always hurt by what happens. We are more often hurt by our reactions to it. A word thrown at you cannot cut unless you sharpen it with your own thoughts. A rude stare cannot break your peace unless you let it live inside your mind. Stoicism teaches us this simple truth. The world can scream all it wants, but you don't have to scream back. You see, everyone reacts, but very few respond, and fewer still choose silence. To the untrained eye, silence looks like surrender, but to the philosopher, it is a sword sharper than any reply. When you choose not to engage with noise, you don't lose. You win. You conserve your energy. You protect your state of mind. You remain unshaken while the rest burn themselves out in anger and pride. Someone insults you. They expect a reaction. They want a reply. They want to see their words land deep inside you and shake your soul. But what if you just smiled? What if you didn't take it in? What if their insult found no soil to grow in, no space to echo back? Then their power disappears. Their influence fades. Because you have refused to let their scream control your silence. Most people live in reaction mode. They jump at everything: comments, opinions, events, people's moods, their own emotions. They are like leaves in the wind. No direction of their own, only pushed and pulled by whatever blows the strongest. But you are not a leaf. You are the tree, roots deep, still in the storm. You may bend, but you never break. That's what indifference gives you. A center of gravity that no one else can shift. There's a difference between caring and reacting. Just because you don't show anger doesn't mean you don't care. Just because you don't panic doesn't mean you don't understand the urgency. Just because you don't raise your voice doesn't mean you don't have something to say. It simply means you've realized, not everything deserves your energy. Not everything deserves your voice. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." That is a man who ruled an empire, dealt with betrayal, war, loss, yet still chose peace of mind over pride. If a Roman emperor could remain still while holding the weight of the world, then we too can stay quiet while someone mocks us or misunderstands us. It's not that you don't feel. You do. You feel the sting of disrespect, the pinch of being ignored, the weight of pressure, but you refuse to let those feelings govern you. You observe them. You accept them, but you don't serve them. You don't wear them on your sleeve. You don't let them pull your actions. That is what separates the wise from the wild. Silence is not the absence of feeling. It's the presence of control. You have trained yourself to delay the reaction, to sit with discomfort without trying to fix it, without the need to argue or prove your point. That space, that gap between stimulus and response, is where freedom lives. It's where you choose your power instead of giving it away. Think of all the moments in your life where you reacted too quickly, when a single comment led to an argument, when a misunderstanding became a fight, when a small frustration became a bad day. Now imagine if you had waited, breathed, stayed silent. How many storms would you have avoided? How much peace would you still have? The Stoic doesn't act because of pressure. The Stoic acts only after reflection. The Stoic does not reply to win an argument, but speaks to build inner clarity. Most times, the best response is no response. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You are not in this world to control everything. You are here to control yourself. There's a story of a Stoic teacher who, after being insulted publicly, simply turned and walked away. When asked later why he didn't defend his name, he replied, "If I know who I am, why do I need to explain it to someone who doesn't?" That kind of peace cannot be faked. It is built slowly, with practice, over time, by choosing silence again and again, until silence becomes second nature. We often think we must respond to protect our ego. But in truth, ego is what makes us weak. Ego shouts. Wisdom listens. Ego fights. Wisdom waits. Ego wants to be seen. Wisdom is content being still. The more we react, the more we give others control over our emotions. But the more we remain still, the more we reclaim that control, the less power the world has over us. Indifference does not mean coldness. It means choosing what deserves your heat. You cannot throw fire at everything and expect to stay warm. You must decide. You must save your energy for what truly matters. Your peace, your growth, your values, these are sacred. Don't trade them for temporary victories or emotional outbursts. So when the world screams, stay silent. Not because you are afraid to speak, but because you are too wise to waste your voice. Not because you don't care, but because you care about the right things. Because the highest form of strength is not shown in how loudly we react, but in how calmly we remain unchanged. The storm may come, but you are the mountain. Let it pass. Let it scream, but do not let it move you. That is the path. That is the way of the strong. Not by domination, but by discipline. Not by force, but by fortitude. To be able to sit still while the world trembles and say to yourself, "This is beneath me. This does not deserve me. I remain as I am." That is what it means to act as if nothing affects you. Not because nothing does, but because you've trained yourself not to be ruled by anything that does. Detachment is not weakness, it is supreme power. People often misunderstand what detachment truly means. They think it's about not caring. They believe it's about turning cold or heartless. But real detachment, the kind rooted in inner strength, is not the absence of emotion. It's the ability to feel deeply and still choose not to be controlled by those feelings. That is what makes it powerful. We've been raised to believe that reacting is human, that to be hurt, to be angry, to be offended, is normal. And yes, these feelings are natural. But to be ruled by them is not strength, it's surrender. A Stoic does not suppress emotion out of fear or weakness. A Stoic simply refuses to be enslaved by emotions that come and go like the wind. That is where true freedom lies. Detachment means you're no longer desperate for things outside your control. You stop seeking validation, not because you don't value connection, but because you've found peace within yourself. You stop needing others to behave a certain way, because your happiness doesn't depend on anyone's approval anymore. This kind of detachment is not a wall, it's a door that leads to peace. Let's be honest. Life will always test you. Someone will lie to you. Someone will betray your trust. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be underestimated. You might even be mocked. If your sense of peace is tied to being treated fairly, you'll always be disturbed. But if your peace comes from detachment, then nothing can steal it from you, not even life itself. This doesn't mean you become passive. A Stoic takes action, but that action is guided by reason, not by emotional chaos. You speak up, but without hate. You walk away, but without bitterness. You let go, but without regret. And that's the rare kind of strength most people never build. Because it takes discipline. It takes silence. It takes deep inner work. True detachment is when you no longer chase outcomes. You focus on effort, not reward. You care more about doing what's right than being praised for it. You let go of the obsession with winning, because victory that costs your peace is no victory at all. This mindset creates a stillness that nothing outside can shake. A detached person feels the same anger you do, the same sadness, the same hurt. But while most people explode, react, blame, scream, one who is truly detached pauses, breathes, and chooses not to be disturbed. This is not a cold heart. This is a strong mind. And it's that kind of mind that begins to see the world differently. People may think you're distant. They may say you don't care. Let them. You are not responsible for their judgment. You are only responsible for your inner state. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's what detachment gives you. Power. Quiet, steady, unshakable power. Ask yourself, why do certain words still trigger you? Why does silence from others make you feel small? Why does being misunderstood create so much pain inside? The answer lies in attachment, in craving control, in needing outcomes to go your way. But life doesn't serve us comfort. It serves us growth. And sometimes growth feels like silence, distance, and surrender. Seneca once said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Detachment frees us from this suffering. It pulls us away from imagined fears, from endless expectations, from the illusion that we need everything to be perfect in order to be happy. The less we cling to, the lighter we become. And lightness is freedom. Some may ask, but isn't detachment lonely? Not at all. When you detach from the need for constant validation, you begin to enjoy your own company. You start listening to your own thoughts. You develop clarity. You gain depth. The more detached you are from chaos, the more present you become in life. And presence brings true connection. Detachment doesn't mean disconnecting from people. It means disconnecting from the drama that often comes with them. It means choosing peace over being right, silence over argument, walking away over proving a point. A Stoic doesn't avoid people. He simply avoids losing himself in people. That's the line most never learn to draw. To become detached is to grow. It is to rise above emotional slavery. It is to stop being controlled by how others feel, speak, or behave. It is to act with calm, speak with clarity, and live with intention. Epictetus said, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will. That's what we're striving for. Not numbness, but peace. Think about the power that gives you. If nothing disturbs you, nothing controls you. If you're no longer pulled in every direction by praise or blame, you become solid like a mountain. The winds may scream. The storm may rage. But you remain. You endure. Not because you are hard, but because you are rooted. There is great dignity in being unaffected by petty things. There is wisdom in not reacting. There is strength in detachment. The world may tempt you to join every fight, to chase every emotion, to prove yourself again and again. But there's a deeper way, a higher path, and it's only found when you step back, breathe, and realize you are already whole. Detachment is not weakness. It is the highest form of inner strength. The less you need, the stronger you are. And when you master detachment, you don't rise above others. You rise above your former self. That is the only real victory worth chasing. The fortress of the mind, training yourself to feel nothing unwilled. There is a place inside each of us that no one can reach. Not with anger, not with praise, not with lies, not even with love. This place, when discovered and trained, becomes your true home, your inner fortress. And once you live inside it, the outside world loses its power to shake you. Most people spend their lives reacting. Something happens, and they react. Someone says something, and they feel insulted. Plans don't go their way, and frustration takes over. Their peace depends on things going right. But life doesn't care about comfort. Life moves in its own way. If we keep tying our emotions to the winds of life, we'll be blown in every direction. We'll never know who we are, only how we feel in response to something. But the Stoic way teaches otherwise. It teaches that the mind is not just a receiver of impressions. It is the judge, the filter, the ruler. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the core of training the mind to feel nothing unchosen. Feeling nothing unchosen doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means choosing your emotions the way a wise man chooses his words, with care, with reason, and only when necessary. You don't let anger arrive without an invitation. You don't allow jealousy to creep in unnoticed. And you definitely don't open your door to every passing feeling that knocks with urgency but brings no clarity. Think of your mind like a great fortress. It cannot be built overnight. Stone by stone, thought by thought, you place discipline, reason, and patience into your walls. Each time you resist the urge to react, you strengthen it. Each time you pause before letting emotion take over, you raise the gate a little higher. With time, the fortress becomes so solid that noise from outside becomes a whisper, and the chaos of others no longer enters unless you allow it. You see, true strength is not found in how loud we are when we are right. It is found in how silent we remain when provoked, in how deeply we can breathe when others are losing control, in how clearly we can see, even when life clouds the path. Most people are prisoners of their moods. A word can ruin their day. A disappointment can break their spirit. But the trained mind doesn't operate like that. It observes. It waits. It filters. And only then, it responds, if it must. Seneca, one of the great Stoic voices, said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Why? Because we allow the mind to run wild. We let it believe every thought it produces. We trust every emotion as if it's telling the truth. But not every thought deserves your belief. Not every emotion deserves your energy. You can feel something and still not obey it. That is power. Now, how do we train for this? Not with books alone. Not with quotes written on the wall. We train in daily life, in the small moments that test us. When someone speaks to you with disrespect, can you stay unmoved? Not from fear, but from mastery. When plans fall apart, can you adapt without bitterness? When others celebrate and you feel left behind, can you stay focused on your path, not theirs? Every one of those moments is a lesson, a chance to apply what you've been building. And even when you fail, even when emotion wins, you observe, you reflect, and you return stronger. The fortress is not built by perfection. It is built by consistency, by rising after every fall with more clarity and less noise. Don't confuse numbness with strength. Indifference does not mean you feel nothing. It means you don't feel what doesn't serve you. A true Stoic can love deeply, feel pain, experience joy, but never let any of it take over. He lives with emotions, not under them. He commands the ship, not the storm. There will be days when the mind feels weak, when you want to scream, cry, react. And that's okay. The fortress also needs rest. But even then, you don't let the world enter and control it. You sit in silence. You breathe. You remind yourself, this feeling is not forever. This pain is not permanent. This insult is not your truth. The great Epictetus taught us that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And in this lies the secret. You control nothing outside you, not people, not events, not even the outcome of your hard work. But you control your inner world. You control your choices. You control what gets to live inside your mind. So build that fortress, bit by bit, brick by brick. No one needs to see it. No one needs to praise it. It is yours alone. And when the world comes crashing, when others lose their minds, you will sit there, steady, in that unshakable place within. Not because you are distant, but because you are disciplined. Not because you are cold, but because you are in control. Let the world be loud. Let others react. Let circumstances shift and people change. But you remain steady, calm, unbothered. Because your mind is no longer a battlefield. It is a fortress. And in that silence, you will find all the power you ever needed.